anything you could do, I could do better. I can do anything better than you. 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 I can do anything better than you.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy JSpenceTheKing. I got my brother. I got Girls for the Girls. And then I got all Bro Po joining us tonight as well. We're going to catch up with him. We're going to talk about what's happening down there in Miami with Tua. We're going to talk about how PFF is kind of, they going hard on our boy Jordan. And I want to get into the Deshaun Watson stuff. And you know what? How about let's start right there. Before I even catch up with you, Sterls, let's start right here.
The way I was raised, I was taught to love no matter the circumstances, especially for people who do right by you. I'm grateful that I had a chance to serve Deshaun, but I am very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he put his body and life on the line for this city every single day, regardless of your perception, regardless of what you thought should happen with him. He committed every single day that I've been here to be the best that he can be for this team. And I know I come from the deep south, Birmingham, Alabama, Belsham, Alabama. So I know the standard that hungry fans want. But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down.
Dog. I'm from the South too, nigga. And this nigga said hungry and told.
And I was told that, and I'm not making fun of, because first of all, I got family down south. No, I got family down south. But the biggest thing about this that's comical is, where was this speech when whatever is allegations, a lot of stuff got settled in court, but y'all, like, the way everything is going, it's like the stuff we choose to get outraged about is just hilarious to me. Like, you're mad that fans were happy that they were going to have a change at quarterback. I don't get it. Let's start with Bro Po, because I know he always he has some strong takes when it comes to stuff. So let's start with you, man. How when you listen to that and then you just know everything that's going on, where's your head with that stuff?
He's not wrong, because like, it's the Browns fans. The Browns fans were happy to have Deshaun. Let's not forget that when they got him, they were happy to have Deshaun. When they first got the trade, and so they're not booing him because of, he doesn't care about what was going on social media. He's talking about them booing him at the stadium because of his play, and booing someone when they get hurt is what he's talking about. I don't think he even read anything on social media about fans. That there's a lot of fans that didn't like Deshaun Watson, and for fair reason. Like, he's a weird dude. But like, he was more talking about the fans in Cleveland. Like, there's guys that give their all, and even if they do play bad and they get hurt, and because he wasn't playing the way you wanted him to play, giving his all and his body to the team, you're going to boo him in the stadium. They didn't boo him because of what happened in his past. They booed him because he was playing bad. And that's kind of like bullshit, in my opinion, if you're going to boo somebody because they're playing bad after they just put their body on the line. Again, you want to talk shit about him online as a fan from another organization, but you guys set the table when the Browns were happy to have Deshaun Watson when he got there. Every single Browns fan that I knew was happy about it. It's a different, I respect your opinion on it. I saw your tweets. Like, that is from a fan that wasn't happy that he got a job back, and I get it. So like, you didn't like him at all. But the Browns fans wanted him there, and then they boo him because when he gets hurt. I think that's Bush League.
Yeah, Sterls, before you jump on, you're right, bro. It was one of those things where you started to see signs at games where, like, some of the fans were even like making excuses for whatever the allegations were. Like, you saw some signs that just kind of distasteful, and then and like he said, they were cheering about it. They were happy that they outbid the Falcons, and they were happy that they were the team to make the trade, and they gave him a fully guaranteed contract and all the stuff like that. So to your point, they weren't booing like him as a person. They were booing like, yo, this guy has been playing terribly. Like, we need a change. I get it. He has a fully guaranteed. To me, that's what the feeling of the fan base was as well. Sterling, what are your either your response to what he said or just your over? I know you wanted to jump in early. What's your thoughts
Oh man,
overall on Jameis and then on Winston?
I love James Winston, man, but that whole speech, it didn't even seem sincere, real. Like it just, oh my god,
You thought it was performative.
It was performative. Just lace up and start and get those guys some dubs, man. Like I don't know. I get what he's trying to do and trying to rally the team and take control, but bro, stop. Man, you could see that whole speech was manufactured. All he had to do was say, man, it's unfortunate for Deshaun, man. Gonna be praying for him. We're gonna stand behind him. We're gonna do the best we can, move forward, blah, 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 move on. All that extra shit he could have did behind closed doors.
That's not Jameis, though. We've known Jameis to be outlandish, and nothing he does really ever seems sincere. But that's just who he is. At this point, he's told us who he is. He's a really clown guy that takes everything. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, and it may not look genuine. Like that W thing when people talk about it all the time. He was dead ass about that speech, and so I'm not. He's also a kind of a weird, cringy dude, but I do think he was genuine about his stance on it. That's what it felt genuine based off of what I know about Jameis.
I think what he said was genuine. I just think his performance was there. Like, I don't think it was tier worthy. I think I'm looking in the comments here and I see that some people think that he was fake crying and, so I think his performance was absolutely there, but I just, I don't know. I tell you what, obviously everybody kind of knows where I stand on the side of things when it comes to like, these type of situations with players, like when you're talking about Deshaun Watson and not the injury. I want to make it clear. I don't root for injuries. I know like Sunday when it happened, you can take them how you want. But you could take my tweets to be celebratory of the fact that he was injured. It's not necessarily that I was happy about the fact that he was injured. I didn't believe he should be a starting quarterback. I didn't think that he deserved it in the NFL. So where I'm at right now is celebrating that he's not going to be rewarded for that's where I'm at. It had nothing to do. Now, again, take it how you want. I'm not going to back down from that. Like, whatever it is, I don't like Watson. Now, moving past that, I don't wish injury on any person, like, because I understand what this game is. I know how hard it takes to get to, or what it takes to get to the NFL. And on top of that, man, look, going through what, the type of media scrutiny that this dude has gone through because of these things, just to get ready for the season had to be one of the most difficult things in the world to do. So I'm not ignoring all of this. Like, I get that. I just think that, I can't be mad at a fan base if the take was, yo, get this guy out of here because he's playing bad, or if the take was, because there were some Cleveland fans who had a little bit opposite of a take than what bro was talking about down here. It wasn't just that he was playing bad. There are some that felt like they couldn't actively root for the team morally with some of these allegations. Go ahead.
Do you think that anyone in the stands that bought tickets to go see Deshaun Watson play really cared about his previous allegations? Like, you're going to watch the man play. Like, you bought tickets to go watch this man play. You're booing him because he got injured, and you're booing him because he's been playing like dog. I'm glad he's not playing anymore. That's where the disconnect is. Like, if nobody showed up to the fan base and then you had a bunch of Browns fans talking about, yeah, finally he's out, now I can come back to the games, that would be different. Like, that would be a difference. That would be your stance, I feel. And so, like, that I understand. If you don't like Deshaun Watson, you don't like him, but don't cheer for him when he gets there and then boo him when he gets hurt. That to me is Bush, and that's what I think James is talking about.
And there, I 100% agree with you. I mean, and obviously we've had other conversations about other players, and it's like I try to be consistent with that. And so with what you're saying, I would be consistent with, like, if somebody came to Buffalo and it's like, yo, I'm cheering them on, and then all of a sudden, you be consistent with guys. Like, don't. Because even now with guys that's left, I hate how some of us are switching up. Like, some people are not talented anymore because they don't play for the Bills, and I felt like Gabe wasn't talented when he was here. So it's not even just that he's not that he's not talented. He's talented I thought he wasn't the top receiver that they tried to sell us that he was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I try to keep my energy the same. I didn't like McKenzie. I didn't like certain people. People switch up, and you're right. They celebrated that dude. Sterles, when you look at the politics of it all, how do you feel like the organization is handling this? Because I feel like they really did a horrible job from the very beginning, but it feels like they're given like almost chance after chance at like PR heaven. Like for instance, this injury, again, you don't wish injury on anybody, but this gives them an opportunity to kind of take a step back from whatever negativity that surrounds the team because of Watson, and now kind of, just kind of, they have a chance to kind of reset. How do you feel about how the team is handling this with the PR aspect?
It's the best possible outcome for both sides. And for the Watson side, like, he gets a chance to rehab and just kind of set his mind right. Like, whatever happened in the past, it's unfortunate, and he's got to deal with his own self in the mirror. But now, whatever his career looks like after that, he could be the dictator of what his future looks like. He could put time in, kind of just recalibrate as a quarterback for the Browns. They're stuck with the contract. But this is what they signed up for. So, they deserve all the PR mess that they get from this. Because first of all, why would you give him a fully guaranteed contract when a dude didn't play for 2 years? That to me is just crazy. I don't care if it was Tom Brady. You don't do something like that. And on top of the fact of what he just came out of is another no-no. Like, it's like you dance with the devil, you're gonna get burned. And that's what I feel like the Browns did. And so I don't feel bad for the Browns. I do feel bad for the fans, though. They deserve better. Like, Cleveland in itself as a city, it's just a rugged, like lunch pail type of city. They don't deserve that, man. They got good fans there. They deserve much better. So it's on par for Cleveland. This is what they do.
When you're desperate for, they were desperate for a quarterback for a long time, and like, you tend to make choices that you probably shouldn't have made, and they put themselves in a position where they couldn't get out of it. It's similar to like, and like, I don't mean to like bring this part back up, but like, not getting rid of Diggs at certain points, if it was really like that. And I don't mean to compare the two people. They're two different people, two different situations, but like, getting rid of Diggs earlier probably would have helped Josh, and Diggs helped Josh get to where he was at, but getting rid of him a little bit earlier probably would have helped Josh get over this not being able to be the man in the locker room type deal. So sometimes you put yourself in a position where you can't get out of it when you're desperate for the number one guy somewhere.
No, I agree. And specifically when you talk about like the Diggs situation, he was who I was kind of talking about earlier too. When it comes to fans switching up, it's like now all of a sudden we think Diggs isn't capable. Like, he's washed now that he's in Houston. Like, no, last year everybody was talking about how Diggs was still a top 5. We should be like, we were upset when the media didn't consider him a top 5 player, and now all of a sudden he's washed. I just don't understand that. And even with the D-Hop trade, like, Bills fans like
acting like they didn't want him. Like,
you know what I mean? And it's like,
like, y'all didn't want him last year for the life of you. Like,
and it's not like I'm not saying that he's gonna go to the Kansas City and now all of a sudden, like, okay, he's gonna have a 1,500-yard season with the remaining games and he's gonna have 12 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's gonna go off like that, but you're kidding yourself if you don't feel like he absolutely upgrade. Like, even without the injuries, like, say they were still healthy at receiver, DeAndre Hopkins upgrades that receiver room.
Yeah.
Similar to Kadarius, like, and I don't mean like to compare the two, but like, you're bringing in a bunch of curveballs and changeups and knuckleballs for the playoffs when you can't just throw your fastball all game. And like, at some point, D-Hop in the playoff is going to make a big play that changes the course of events for them. Like, that's just what they've done for the last X amount of years to get to Super Bowls. Like, they bring in guys that make splat. Juju will have a big game in a playoff. He doesn't do anything all year and get to a playoff game. And then like Kadarius Toney had a punt return
MVS
that won them a playoff game. Like that. These are like little details of teams when you just have a guy that steps up in those moments. And like, if you don't think that D-Hop is going to step up in one of those moments that make a big play, like, you're kidding yourself, I feel.
Yeah, man. No, I like the D-Hop signing for them. Dude is still a really good route runner. Like, I don't know why people think that he can't he can't produce like that anymore. I mean, he may not be what he was 5 years ago, 3 years ago, but dude, he's still good. And guess what? You got Andy Reid, who's the best play caller in the league, and you got the best quarterback in the league. They're gonna put him in situations where he's gonna be successful. And now, guess what? It frees up Kelsey to do even a little bit more, right? So, no, man, I think it's the value meets, like, what was a 4th round pick or something like that. Like, I don't know why people be tripping on that. Like, he's still a good player.
I don't know what people are talking. That's a steal and a half. I don't know what people are talking. But
dude, I just got off hump day with Joe, and we had a good conversation about it. But like this morning he tweeted like, I'm not scared of a cooked receiver, and I'm just like man, like
I saw that. And like,
bro,
you don't have to be. You're already scared of the Chiefs. Like, let's not get it twisted.
That's where I'm at. It's
do with the Cook receiver.
Without D-Hop, I'm
receiver
terrified.
come in and go make one play, and you're gonna be pissed that they signed him. Like,
and it's like, they're 6-0 right now without him, and like, so whether it's marginally or it's an actual big difference, like they got better today.
Yeah.
So you can't sit here and act like it's nothing. Like, and then you want to talk about the rest of the AFC. Dude, the Ravens, I know that they lost too early. The NFL better be thankful for that, because right now it just looks like they're gonna run through any and every damn thing that's on the schedule, man. Like, they just look unstoppable, and I don't understand. I don't even understand how people want to equate. I don't think that the moves that the Chiefs made had anything to do with Cooper or with Devontae Adams, because I don't think that the Bills or the Jets are on their radar right now. I think right now they're looking at the Ravens and they're like, okay, they're figuring this shit out and they're good. We got to make sure we can't go into the playoffs like this. Like, yeah, we're winning on the schedule, but we can't go into the playoffs like this. That's how I see it. I don't know.
I mean, I see that. I think that the Chiefs have gotten to a point where like it's a lot of gray faces. You've heard people talk about when they look at the other side, they just see a bunch of gray faces. It's not really, I really think that everybody to them is just a gray face, and like they just want to get better at every turn. It doesn't matter how it is. Like, as long as it makes sense to them, they want to get a little bit better because they're going to need it at some point. I think the Ravens still have the same hill to climb. It's never been the regular season, right? It's always been, can Lamar make the throws he needs to make in the playoffs? And so there's a lot of teams that could contend right now. But the Chiefs is really seeing a bunch of like blank faces on the other side right now.
It's scary right now, though, bro. Like that Ravens team. I get it's not the playoffs yet, but one thing that every year, Keaton Mitchell was injured last year. He's still on IR or the physically unable to play list. The year before that, J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL or his Achilles. The year before that, J.K. Dobbins was injured again. So, it's just like the starting running back for the Ravens has never been there. And if going into the playoffs, if you have a healthy doggone Derrick Henry with a healthy Lamar Jackson, and they're playing even remotely close to what they're playing right now, you can't tell me that you're not.
I've said this last year, and I say it the year before, and I said it the year before that. Lamar is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But when he's gone to the playoffs, he has absolutely missed pass after pass that is important. Maybe they can ride Derrick Henry to playoff wins. I don't know, because I think teams are just going to stack the box and force Lamar to throw the football. And until he does that, I just can't ease up off this idea that Lamar is not going to win playoff games, at least multiple in the season. But I mean, I understand, like, on paper they're a scary team. Until he does something in the playoff where it's like, I just can't. You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah. No, man. The caution that I have with the Ravens is that they're playing. It feels like they're playing their best ball right now, and there's still a lot of season left to go. So to expect them to carry that in the playoffs with the older Derrick Henry, so if he's getting all these carries, like how productive is he going to be in the playoffs? But I do think that this Ravens team is better suited for a playoff run than they ever have been before, just because they have a solid run game. The offensive line, which looked to be a question mark going into the season, looks like they've kind of figured it out. So if anything else fails, we know a run game travels. But yeah, it takes coaching. It takes Lamar Jackson's going to have to play beyond the X's and O's and not just be a seam thrower. He's going to have to attack every area of the field, right? So Zay Flowers has been quiet this year. You'd like to see a little bit more improvement there. And then, from a tight end point of view, it's like, okay, is it likely today? Is it Andrews? Andrews seems like he's lost a step, or he's still recovering back from injury. So I don't know, man. They're still a dangerous team. I just don't think they're untouchable.
I hear what both of y'all saying, and then shout out to B in the comments. She said that Lamar, she's agreeing with All Bro Post. She said that he looks completely different in the playoffs. I do want to, like, y'all know me, I always got to play devil's advocate for a second. So let's look back at this last AFC championship game. If Zay Flowers doesn't fumble that pass or that play on the 1 yard line and turn the ball over, we're having a different conversation about Lamar Jackson getting it done in the playoffs. Like, no, I'm just saying, like,
because you give Pat the ball back, we don't know what would happen.
What I'm saying is, though, like, that drive came up empty. Like, if they would have scored and they would have felt like the team was in the driver's seat, and if the defense would have failed, I know Josh don't get that benefit of the doubt, but it seems like Lamar is getting that right now. Like, when things don't happen, he's gotten 2 MVPs. You know what I mean? So regardless of where he loses in the playoffs, like, he's getting that benefit of the doubt. So I feel like he would have been. But if that play would have been different, you know, and that's not on him. You can't. He made the play. He caught the ball. The guy ran and fumbled it on the goal line. So if he held on to the ball and didn't fumble, and they scored a touchdown there, we wouldn't be saying that he looks different in the playoffs. Am I right?
You wouldn't give Josh the benefit of the doubt if he had the ball with a minute and a half left and threw an interception to end the drive. Like that, Lamar got the ball back with a minute and a half left in the game and threw an interception, and then that was the end of the game for them, and they had a chance to win. And
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm with you.
I'm just going based off of history. He got to the Bills, and they were killing all year. That was his best year as a quarterback yet, killing all year. He does end up getting hurt like midway through or at the end of the third, but like he wasn't doing nothing for the entire first 3 quarters, because I just feel like when teams get to the playoffs, they're going to throw their best pitches at you, and people have just known how to play Lamar. We're going to force you to throw it. Now, once Lamar figures out how to win a game with his arm, they may not lose a Super Bowl, like they may not lose that, but I don't know when that'll happen. Until it happens, I can't see it happening.
But we gotta be honest and real though. Like Lamar Jackson didn't piss down his leg against the Chiefs last year. I mean, that dude, he had like 270 yards passing. Now, you know, you can argue about the efficiency and it could have been better. You got to look at the game plan. They stopped running the football, right? So I think that was a big deal. But 17-10 at home, like, you got to put up more points though. So it wasn't all on Lamar. The defense did their job, I felt like. But yeah, man, if MVP quarterback, you kind of you need him to make some more plays, you know. But he didn't have a bad game.
That play was made. It was a fumble by the receiver.
That's just the one play though. Like, there were countless times in that game where
you're right. I'm not taking up for him here because I criticized him heavily. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I just feel like it's a lot of like, you know, he still ain't, and I feel like this team is different. That's the only reason why I'm kind of defending him on this.
Spence, can I ask you,
he had 2 turnovers though. He had a fumble and an
That's why I said I'm not going to defend him. You're right.
Can I ask you if you're playing devil's advocate, would you give the same leniency to Josh or Mahomes, especially Mahomes, if he lost games at the end in the playoffs the way that Lamar has?
At this point right now, and this is how I see it right now. Mahomes has a pass. Like, he could have a horrible game and it don't fucking matter. Like, he has Super Bowls with an S, and he has Super Bowl MVPs.
But would you hold it against them though? Like, would you
be like, so
you got to play off and throw a pick at the end
if he did that right now, I'd be like, hey man, you win some and you lose some. As long as the outcome is income. You know what I mean?
Josh,
like, you ain't gonna get them all.
Josh.
But Josh did it. But to me, Josh still had, and this is where I get yelled at by Bills fans, because obviously the 13-second game wasn't Josh's fault. You know, there's other moments where you can say it wasn't Josh's fault, but at the same time, it's almost like that Peyton Manning conversation. Until you do it, until you get over that hump, it's like the conversation about you as a quarterback is going to be that you can't lead your team to that next step. No, so that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Patrick Mahomes is different. He's done it several times. So I give him that. Josh right now, no, as a Bills fan, or if you want to say as an outsider now, I don't live in Buffalo. So if you want to say I'm saying until you do it, the question is, can you? Like, because you're proven to me he's regressed.
So you feel the same way about Lamar? You feel the same way about Lamar then?
Yeah. No, I try to be consistent. Yeah. Every once in a while, I let my emotions like when Jordan with Tremaine. I love these dudes, so it's a little different. It's a little difficult for me to just let people talk crazy about them. But I really do. I try to be honest across the board, and I would be upset like the same way that most fans are about Lamar. I would be the same way about Josh.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's like if Josh is honest with himself, he's got to come in there saying, "Look, I already know my head coach gonna let me down, so I got to come out here and fucking tear these guys up." And I don't care what you say, Paul, about McDermott is trash in the playoffs, bro. The nigga trash. He trash in the playoffs. How many? And we don't even need to get in this conversation, but how many times have the defense let the Bills down in the playoffs? Too many times. Too many times.
They did it against the Chiefs twice. One was his first time, and one was 13 seconds. The Chiefs have
too many times. It's too many times.
It's the best
and I get the George on
in the history of football
as a collective whole. McDermott and the defense have let them down.
You losing to the best team in football. The 13 seconds is McDermott letting down. If there was a time to fire him, it should have been then.
Nigga, they didn't get it done.
Because they didn't fire him then, he's been good ever since.
My point is, Josh is going to have to come out with a renewed mind and come out here and just start slanging that thing over and over and over again, because you have to blow teams out, because you leave it to the defense, it's a wrap.
Look, man, McDermott is one of those dudes that, like, you know, during the season, he gonna do it. He gonna do it. The record gonna be good. You know how I look at McDermott? McDermott has the Buffalo Bills looking like the LA Clippers back when they had Chris Paul, they had Blake Griffin, and they had, you know, like, no, I'm saying, think about it. They win in 55 games. But think about it. They win in 55 games, 60 games a year. They're winning the one seed. You know, they're doing all of this stuff. Then you get to the playoffs and you completely shit the bed. And that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills have been doing.
But you're playing against one of the best teams. That's what I mean. Though. Like, that's a great comparison, because the Clippers had to go up against the buzzsaw in Golden State, just like Josh got to go up against the buzzsaw in Kansas City. And so, losing to Kansas City, we can't just okay, we got to completely turn it over.
The league has a Kansas City problem, but the problem is this: you beat them in the regular season. You
don't mean shit.
It does, because there's a pathway. There's a way to do it. And the Bills constantly beat themselves when they get in these playoff moments against the Chiefs, and it's got to stop.
I'm not big on the regular season because they're going to play completely different. Pat turns into one of the best game managers in history when it comes to playing in the playoffs.
But listen, bro, I'm sorry to cut you off there. That 13, if no other god doggone year, man.
That's when he should have been fired if there was a time. That was
and I don't want to say it was on the defense, because I truly believe players are supposed to run the play that's called. So if the play was what the play was, that we chose to allow Travis Kelce to have 25-yard of field in front of him to just go down and call a timeout to kick a field goal with 13 god doggone seconds left, then I don't put that on the players' mentality because they were told to call a certain play. Hey, back the hell up. We don't want them to throw it deep and score a touchdown. I don't know. But that wasn't on Josh, man. Like that game right there, when I look at that game, it's like that to me, that was the best quarterback play in the playoffs on both sides. I can say Mahomes was, but Josh was cooking that game, bro. Like I can't put that L on Josh. There's nothing about that game, especially in the fourth quarter, and there's nothing that I can put on Josh there. Nothing.
No, I mean I didn't. That game was definitely not Josh, but saying every year has been on the defense is just not accurate. Offense has struggled.
What year has
in the playoffs?
Okay, the Bengals, the one time when they got 10 points, but the defense was playing 10 yards off receivers at the line. Are you kidding me?
Okay, the defense didn't play good, but I'm saying
Josh you just saying that because Jordan was on the defense, dog.
I literally just said the defense didn't play good, but saying Josh is supposed to be Josh. That's what I'm saying. Josh is supposed to put up the 30 points, and we didn't. He didn't do it against the Chiefs the first time when the defense played well. They give up 23 points, lost 23-17. That's what I'm saying.
You saying
it's the defense every year is just inaccurate.
It is.
It's not.
Okay, next topic. Because he glazing, bro. Like, tell me,
I'm
what
truly
game
not.
wasn't on defense?
I'm
We
truly
already
not.
know that Jerry is like he's very loyal, and obviously it's his
Yeah,
brother,
and
so
it's
he's gonna
okay.
be loyal to the like.
So you guys, hold on. You guys I can separate myself from it to say the 13 seconds was completely on the defense and the coaching staff. But when I say that the rest of the games wasn't solely on the defense because the offense played like shit.
I didn't. Now, first of all, I
What
didn't.
game did the offense play like shit?
Every other playoff loss. Every single
I'm
other
not
playoff loss
blaming
that we
every
had.
playoff loss on the defense. I'm blaming it on McDermott. My take is that the coach. Listen, this last year, I blame on McDermott. Kansas City in Buffalo.
Oh man,
I get yelled at for saying that it's not a big deal that we went into the game without a healthy punter. People try to minimize that like it's nothing. I think the punter position when you're playing against a team like Kansas City is actually important because the game of field position is important. That's me. That's how I feel. So I feel like going into that game, knowing that you don't have a punter, it changes your game plan, which means your coach's job directly affects.
There's a blame to be had for McDermott, but so don't tie McDermott's pregame choices to the defense.
But he is the defensive
coach. But you're tying his punting choices. That's a head coaching issue.
But last year, the defense didn't let us down. I know they scored more points than us, but you got to remember, after the stupid-ass call with DeMar Hamlin for the fake punt, your brother, the defense, got the punt back on the goal line or the fumble. I'm not saying it's on the defense. That's Patrick Mahomes, dude. Sometimes you're just going up against a monster, and you got to hope to hold him. You got to hope to contain him, and sometimes you can't. That wasn't on the defense. That was on Sean McDermott. 13 seconds, Sean McDermott. Let's go down every year. The AFC Championship game, Sean McDermott. You know you're going into that game with Beasley with a fractured. He had a fractured part of his leg. Diggs had an oblique injury.
Are you putting all of the blame on McDermott for last year?
Not all of the blame, but what I'm saying is coaching decisions matter. When you know your best offensive players are injured, when you know they're not 100%, why do you bench Motor for the first half because of a mistake?
I agree with you.
What I'm saying is those are coaching decisions that
absolutely
so you handicap.
But we did have the ball with a chance to win the game at the end of the game with the one that we wanted a quarterback to be the best in the football. And then we had the Bengals game. My point is only that you saying that the defense lets us down every year in the playoffs is not accurate. And it's not even close.
I think that was Sterl's take, and I get the disagreement there.
If you can blame every part of the defense on the 13 seconds game, the rest of the games, our offense, defense, special teams, coaching has not been good enough to win playoff game.
Okay. I disagree, but it's all right.
Walter's yelling at me for giving the defensive pass. He said I wouldn't do it for the offense. I just don't think that's true. I think, again, if the coach is making bad decisions, like for instance, we won. So I can use this as an example. In the first half, we got the ball on our 40 and ended up punting on the same drive. That's bad offense. That's bad coaching. Like if you at least get a field goal out of that drive. If you can't gain 5 yards just to kick a field goal, that's bad coaching. To me, I don't give the offense a pass, but offensively, we haven't had an issue in the playoffs besides that Bengals game. To me, since I think back, since Josh Allen has been on this team, offensively in the playoffs, scoring has not been the problem. If I'm wrong, correct me.
No, historically, his numbers historically
playoff game
say that, back that up. Like
the AFC Championship, he struggled.
No, he struggled because, and I'm not giving him a pass here. I just ran down the whole list of injuries plus bench and Motor. Who did he have to throw to? Diggs had an oblique injury. He was out there, but so you gonna tell me I don't have receipts of you on a show from that year or the year after talking about how injuries affected the players in that game? Like now that you're on the Dolphins side, don't go ahead and switch on the takes, bro. Like
losing to a better team is what it is. I'm not sitting here saying we should have won the game. We shouldn't have. The Chiefs were better that year.
No,
they've actually been better every year. Other than this last year,
I don't think so. I think the 13 seconds year we were a better team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's not the same year though. The AFC Championship game we just were not a better team than them.
We were
No,
not
they were a
team,
better
but
team
we
in
also
that AFC Championship year. I agree with that. Like, but
I feel like we were evenly matched, closer. Like we may not have been the better team, but we were beat up in
That
that
was
game.
Tyreek.
But coaching,
That was Tyreek.
coaching
We
could
were
have kept
beat
them
up,
in that
bro.
game, and coaching failed them in that game.
Coaching, but we were beat up
in the AFC Championship game.
Coaching failed them in that game.
We were beat up, and coaching failed them. Why do you bet?
Not as good a football team.
Okay, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, let's pivot a little bit to something that you're gonna get defensive about. PFF is out here being like haters for. They've always been haters on some stuff, especially when it comes to just like the safety and cornerback play. But they've ranked or rated 3 of the former Buffalo Bills, starting with Gabe Davis. He's ranked 106 out of 125 wide receivers. Trey White is ranked 101st out of 105 cornerbacks, and Jordan Poyer is ranked 84th out of 85 safeties. And they gave him a PFF grade of 39.7.
So what's your question?
Just go ahead. I ain't even like, we gonna start there. What's your reaction to that shit?
I've been on this show multiple times, and for the last 5 years, when they were giving Jordan good PFF grades, that PFF grades are dog shit. They're only meant for O-line and D-line, and cornerbacks that play one-on-one coverage in space, and that because it's easy for these nerds to sit there and analyze who's fucking up on one-on-one and 1v1 coverage. Like it's easy for they don't know what gaps these defenders have. They don't know who's covering what zones and when we're rolling to different things. And so like Jordan had 8 tackles, didn't give up one catch outside of the one that he wasn't in his position. He had that tip pass that was caught for 18 yards in the last game, and still somehow he gets a fucking 45 PFF. I don't understand like what you're watching or who's grading them. Like it can't be any former players. I don't know. I don't know who's grading that shit, but
it's hard to grade those guys like that. I mean, that whole defense is just having struggles. Like when you don't have a quarterback, the defense, how many snaps are they getting a game? It's got to be through the roof. Like there's no continuity. Like in terms of, you know, the offense helping out the defense. It's just, it's a terrible situation to be in. I don't think it's indicative of how he's been playing. I mean, you could see
T-Dot was the number 1 linebacker last year, if I'm not mistaken. PFF grade.
Who?
Terrell
Dodson. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, T-Dot did his part last year, but
we all knew.
Like, what are we? Like, I just don't understand the grades and like how these guys just don't know.
And here, with all due respect, and so I'm gonna be honest, but at the same time, I'm gonna be honest. So, like, no, Jordan's not having the best season that I've ever seen him have. You know what I mean? Like, I think when a team isn't doing well overall, it's tough to like look at an individual performance and be like, yo, this dude is jumping off the screen. He's doing a lot of great things. I think they're struggling. I think the Dolphins, they have things looking forward to, and we could talk about that next. Tua is coming back. And I think, you know, offensively, you know, Tariq is excited and all that stuff. But I think right now, before this game coming up, whatever the hope may be, we'll see how things look. But I think we've talked to you before on the show this season, and we talked about the struggles without Tua. We talked about how it puts the defense in a bad position because they're on the field constantly and there's injuries and all of these different things. So I don't know. I don't think that he's having the best career year that I've seen from him. I've seen him have some pretty damn good years. So it is different watching him in a new system on a new team with with guys that are missing, that you would think on paper would look very good together. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'll say this. You looking at, you know, this Dolphins defense. I mean, let's not forget that, you know, this defense is number 1 in third down conversion rate. So they are at 26.47%, which means that teams aren't converting on third downs. That is contributed to Jordan Poyer and getting these guys lined up in the right space. You know, they don't have a pass rush right now. I think that's what's killing them the most. Their pass rush right now is just non-existent, bro. But I mean, statistically, this isn't a bad defense. They just can't score.
Teams are not throwing the ball. Like outside of the Seahawks game, I think teams are averaging like 11 passes a game completed. And so like teams are just not throwing the ball because teams get a lead and just run the ball all game. And so I don't think our D line, because of how our offensive played, is getting a chance to pass the rusher, which means our DBs aren't getting a chance to make plays in the defensive backfield. The one real turnover that we have this year is Javon Holland's punch out on a run play. And so like it's just hard to get these big time plays that PFF looks at to give you that boost in grade that you get when you're going against a team that's just running the ball entire game, 3 yard, 3 yard, 3 yard, either punt or first down and just running out clock. So
well, let me ask you this. Well, no, let me ask you this now, because so let's just, it was a good, I guess, a good segue for this. So Tua's back. Y'all good? Are we good on time?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tua's back now. At least he's back for practice. I assume that means he's going to play Sunday. Tariq Hill was talking to media today. He's like, yo, go ahead and tell anybody playing who got me on fantasy to put me back in the starting lineup. We back. What's the general vibe down there right now? Y'all feeling like it's go time now?
I mean, yeah, I think with Tua coming back, it's now, or it's the idea of now or never. But with Tua coming back, it feels like a team that is going to put up points to where our defense can actually play a football game. Like when they don't feel like they're just running out there to get the ball back for an offense that's going to eventually punt the ball. And so I think Tua brings back a lot of energy. It's hard because like I think that there needs to be some leadership growth. And this team is a very front runner team. So like this is what I was talking about earlier. As soon as they start getting wins, everybody in there is going to be bought in. But as teams are losing, as the team is losing and in this position where their backup quarterback is struggling all the time, you're going to have guys that are not as bought in at the moment, which is like, it's annoying because Jordan was telling me that he go to the D-line meetings at 7:30 so that he can understand what the D-line is doing, so he could tell whoever needs to know what gap they have in the run. Like, bro, the amount of shit Jordan's doing, because like it is one of his last 1 or 2, maybe 3 years left playing in football. So like he wants to take every bit of it in, bro. This guy's going to linebacker meetings, D-line meetings, trying to make sure everybody gets set up right. And like, I just think that with Tua coming back, it gives a juice that we can win every game now, like type of vibe. So I think that it was much needed for sure.
Steros, so from a non-biased perspective here for a minute, like take the Bills hat off, you know what I mean? Like looking at the rest of their schedule and then see a Tua come back, how confident would you be looking at this team? Like, okay, the Dolphins can kind of turn this around and do some things, and they can make some noise.
I mean, I think this first game is going to be able to tell you a lot. They're gonna have to come out like gangbusters just to get the morale of the team like where it needs to be. I mean, anything is possible, but it's not likely. There's too many injuries, man. Like, and then you don't know how is Tua going to be healthy for the rest of the season. Like, that's something that we've been talking about for a few years now. And if he stays healthy, yeah, they got a shot. They can get a wild card. If not, I mean, what are we doing? Like, it's over, Unfortunately, there's too many injuries, man. You can't sustain key injuries like that, especially on defense, and think you're gonna just, coast through the season. And then when you're main sitting in Colorado, so how many games they lose without Tua? They lost all 4 games. Am I correct?
They won one. They won 1 and 3.
Yeah, that's tough to overcome. So I guess it's like, okay, if Tua comes back, the morale is like everybody's like good, ready to go. They come out, they win Sunday. Okay, like we could talk about it. But if they lose, it's stick a fork in them.
It depends on how they lose. If they lose and Tua put up 40 points and the defense give up,
okay, yeah.
Like they might be able to like, okay, we'll fix it on defense. Like now, at least the defense got a game. But if they lose with the offense playing like, shit, it might be.
What's up? What's up with Odell? What's he doing?
He just got back. I don't think he wouldn't go through nothing with training camp. He's gonna be like he's meant to be a reliable option late in the season. So
okay. So real quick, it's 11 games left, right? How many games do they have to win out of 11?
They have 8 games against teams that are 500 or less. They need to win those 8.
So they need to go 8-3.
Yeah, and then they'll end up being 10-6. They can get in with that. They could probably maybe sneak in at 9-8, depending on how the season goes. But I would get comfortably 10-6.
Okay, so the reason why I asked that, so again, I just try to put the perspective out there and really just ask the question. So looking at the schedule before the season, or even looking at it now that we know how teams are playing, right? Like,
okay,
do you think the Cardinals are a team that's just going to be easy for the Dolphins to beat?
No, I do think Tua is going to put up 30 to 40 points, though. I think that's what this was like. I think this buildup has been, and it's going to right the ship for that offense. I don't know how the game's going to flow, whether they win or lose, because that offense is fairly good, but that defense is not good.
Well, then they come back. They play the Bills in Buffalo this time. Now, the Dolphins, for some reason, just don't play well against the Bills.
I don't even talk about game because my opinion is not good.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. And I'm just saying. So I don't know, man. Like it's kind of trippy to me because I feel like the Dolphins, when I watch them on certain weeks, they look like a dominant team when Tua's in. But it does, like, just historically. Now your brother's been there for one game in this rivalry now, and it's like that game to me. Obviously, Tua got injured, so you can say it how you want, but I feel like that game didn't look different. I want your opinion now. You just said you want to share your opinion. So what's your opinion on it? Because I feel
like the defense played outside of like 2 or 3 runs that broke. The one that Jordan, people want to say he took a bad angle, but if he takes any deeper of an angle, he would meet him at the fucking goal line. I'm sorry. People have been saying that all the time, and that should be knowing me. But the 3 interceptions, one that bounces off of receiver's hands, one that a receiver runs the wrong route, and one he just tosses up trying to get it out of bounds, and it goes for a pick 6. All 3 of those end up for 17 points, and that's what we lost by. And so, like, I don't think the defense, I don't think Josh really did much. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't have to because the defense put them in position to be successful.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he didn't do much leading up to that point. Like, they took him out, like, at the beginning of the 4th, right? And so, like, he didn't really do much up until that point. And so, the game was over, and like I said, once a team gets up, they just sit there and run the ball, or they just sit there and run the ball with their guys all game, and the offense just wasn't putting up any points in the 4th because we didn't have Tua. So I mean, the game wasn't too far out of stretch prior to halftime. I mean, it was a 7-point game at half. Tua comes out, he leads a drive, we turn the ball over. I think we got it into your guys' side of the field, 30-yard line. It throws it off a receiver's hands, turns the ball over. Then the next drive, he tosses it, tries to go out of bounds, pick 6. And like, these are changeable things that can alter a game. Like, these are things that don't have to happen. So
no, it was 24-10 at half. I mean, that game was in the bound.
I think you remember it. I was letting them cook, but go ahead.
Dog, like, don't do that. Like,
it was a 24-10 at half.
Yeah. I was letting them cook. I was letting them have
it. Did the pick six happen at the beginning of the
3rd quarter?
I swear we were down, like, we scored.
Yeah, we was cooking, bro.
Yeah,
we cooked, y'all.
You guys scored early in the game, like that touchdown, and then the field goal, and then it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Your offense did not cook.
No, the defense. And then our
defense got 3 picks.
Sure. But everywhere that they got the ball, they scored. They wasn't like not okay. If you got a short fit, you gonna say it's a problem that we only got 40 yards to go instead of 80?
My point, it wasn't like a dominant. It was like the previous Dolphins versus Bills game. Josh has never been dominant since the time he was playing Fitzgerald. When's the last time that Josh had a dominant game against the Dolphins?
Okay,
you for real?
No. Say it. When's the last time he had a dominant game against the Dolphins?
What do you classify as dominant?
Not
like what's dominant?
Like the last time he threw for over 200 yards against the Dolphins was the playoff game where he threw 3 or 2 picks and fumbled the ball twice.
Yo.
Well, he didn't need to. I mean, he only had 139
You're right. He hasn't
yards
needed to
against
do
the
much.
He didn't have to do.
He hasn't needed to do much. But he has
so let's be honest. Let's call it what it is.
No.
Had Josh played, like, they just ran the ball in the 3rd quarter. Had they actually ran their plays, they would have put up 40 plus.
No,
And
Yeah.
you know it.
They didn't throw the ball in the first half.
They didn't
We're
need
not
to.
we're not gonna forget context and stuff. Like, we're not gonna act like Josh ain't just been dominating the Miami Dolphins.
So you're talking about wins. You
No, I'm
can't
talking
bring me a
about
game where
games.
name one.
Bro,
Name one
the
prior to
game that the Bills lost to Miami in Miami.
he was not dominant that game.
Go look at the stats, my dude.
He got into the red zone and threw turnovers all game. Him having bad games in the red zone is not a dominant game.
Yo,
Okay, hold on. I mean, I can give you some
go and
splits
look
here.
at it, and then go and look back at how he threw a touchdown to Gabe that he dropped. And your dude that you was talking about was great. He dropped a touchdown in the end zone, right corner.
Okay, this is hilarious.
Yo, it's hilarious.
Before this Miami game early in the season, Josh threw for 359 and 2 touchdowns.
What are we talking about?
Before that, was the Bills beat them 38. Let's see, no, he was 30 of 38 that game. This is for last year for the division. He was 78% completion percentage, 359 yards.
Talking about?
Let's go back to the one before that.
We barely won.
He was cooking. Come on,
we
dog.
barely won last year.
It wasn't the margin of victory. It was did Josh eat right dominant. So I'm going to give you dominant.
No, dominant is dominating the other team. The games have been close.
Come on, man. Come on.
He had the playoff game against Skylar Thompson.
Okay.
Almost got out-bulled by Skylar Thompson.
Hold on. Let's go back to the game before that. 21-25.
Yo, I love
84% completion percentage, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns. Is that not dominant?
It's a great game.
Okay, let's go back to 2022.
You won by 4.
12, 17, 22, 25 of 40.
Skylar Thompson.
Let me finish.
That's on your
25 of 40,
the ball.
62% completion,
300 for 160. Skylar Thompson threw for 160. Josh turned the ball over 4 times.
Bro, I don't know what narrative you're trying to pull here, but he's cooked them for the last since 2021. So okay, if you look at Josh Allen this past, like the last time he played him, he had 139 yards, but we know there's context involved and they really didn't have him do much. He's had 200 or more yards in every meeting since 2021. And then in that game, he had a bad game, if you will. The Bills still won. And he was 179 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he had some rushing yards as well. So I don't think that you're going to go home on that Josh Allen ain't doing nothing to the Dolphins narrative, because the stats prove that he's killed them.
He hasn't been killing them
since 2018.
Josh Allen-led Bills teams have not been killing no Dolphins team outside this last game where
Here we go.
Picks, 3 of them.
Here we go. You tell me, because you watch film too. Josh Allen has a passer rating of 110 with 3,502 yards and 34 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in 13 games versus the Dolphins in his career. Tell me that's not dominant.
That's
the games have been close.
He's killing these boys.
Come on,
he definitely killed them prior to 2 getting here.
He is doing the Steph Curry, like putting them to sleep, bro. Like,
definitely was killing them prior to 2 getting here. Just because we beat them,
all I'm gonna say is come on, man. Like,
come on, Poe.
We show Poe love. We make sure that we you know what I mean.
You guys aren't gonna have me agree that
I'm
no
not even
winnable outcome.
That's not what I'm trying to say.
The games have been close. This defense can hold them.
Like, what I'm saying is, you got to be honest too, man. Don't come on here and then rewrite history and act like Josh hasn't dominant. He's been dominant, dog. Like, he has dominated the Dolphins for his career.
You keep saying that, and that shit don't mean anything, so.
Bro, he just read you the stats.
That shit don't mean no. You get dominating is winning by 20 when the AFC East is on the line. Win by 20.
So if okay, all right.
So in order for him to make sense to you, he's got to beat y'all by 20.
Patrick Mahomes has been dominating the league. That's dominating.
No. We're talking about Bills versus
the league. Well, I'm talking about.
And Patrick Mahomes has not been dominating the league based off of your criteria. He has not.
He's been dominating the league, not the Bills. He hasn't been dominating the Bills.
Yo,
if the game is winnable, he's not dominating. In my opinion, if the game is winnable.
Yo, I love you, bro.
It's an election year. We all get crazy on some stuff. I get it.
Great. But your guys' your whole narrative and your whole intention is to try. No, hold on.
I went on the narrative you provided. Hold on.
Wait. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Bro,
Your guys' whole intention is to try to put me in a place where I can say, well, we have no winnable outcome. And
No.
me saying that Josh has been dominant, like Josh didn't do nothing last game. The defense dominated our offense.
Listen, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I was actually going to go through the schedule because you said you had to go you had to win 8 out of the 11. I was going to go through and ask you because you're talking about you still got the Texans on your schedule. You still got the Packers on your schedule. You got the Jets twice. Just because their record is bad don't mean yours is too. It's the same record. You got the 49ers on your schedule. You got what I'm saying is you got these teams that you have more than 8 games that I feel like, you know what I mean? Like you're saying 8 winnable games.
But so like all based off of that, us and you guys have this top 2 weakest schedules in the league left. Like that's based off of what their numbers are. We have the top 2 weakest schedules. So if our schedule is not built to win 8 games, nobody's is.
Well, I think you have to talk about how teams are looking different. Like, I just don't think that the and again,
you're looking at Dolphins without Tua, which I get it.
No. Tua's back. Tua's back, and I hope that Tua's back for real. And I hope that the offense gets back clicking. And I hope y'all do your thing. What I'm saying is, before the season started, when you looked at a fully healthy Tua, you thought they was gonna go 15-2. Because what you're saying is like the games that y'all lost were very winnable. So he was going to win those games. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So that's what you're saying. And then now you're saying he's going to go 8-3. So
outside of the Seattle game and the so like they might be 3-2 right now based on how it played out. Now the Seattle game was winnable with Tua.
Okay.
At the end of it, the last game we played, we would have killed the Colts if we had Tua. And I don't know about we would have lost the Bills game with or without Tua. Well, actually, his 3 interceptions was really the catalyst for losing that game. So, yeah, I do think we would have 1 loss right now if we had Tua. Maybe two if things didn't go our way. But I mean, that's ifs, ands, and buts. I do think Tua-led Dolphins could definitely win 8 out of 11 for sure.
I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to see how it plays out. I mean, yeah, they got some winnable games. My whole thing was this: he's just got to prove that he's healthy, prove that he can get this offense going and fired up again. And then I think the whole team morale point is, I think it's an underrated topic or storyline that's attached to that football team, because you guys have had injuries and just stuff hasn't been going right. When you were before the season, you're like, okay, the Dolphins probably can win this division. Like they're a good football team, and it just has gone completely different. And with Tua, you barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's fucking terrible. So let's not act like they've been like a well-oiled machine and then all of a sudden he got hurt. Like they were struggling trying to figure it out. So I think it's fair to assume why people would have reservations as to why, like, okay, maybe I don't know if they can get it together. I don't know. That's where I'm at. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, Tua definitely lifts the ceiling for you guys, but man, you're kind of in a tough spot. Anything can happen, but they're just gonna have to come out and start just destroying people.
And that's,
I mean, we don't have to destroy people.
Huh? You don't want to?
Where I was too, though, because I before the season started, Strohs will tell you, man, I picked the Dolphins to win the division. It's not like I'm over here being a hater.
Yeah,
I'm really not going to be a hater. What I'm saying is the way the season is gone, the injuries that you had, like your roster isn't at 100%. So when you look at this schedule, I think it matters when certain guys are available and when they're not. And then when you look at a team like Green Bay right now, people are worried about their offense. People feel like Green Bay is up on it like that. I've seen, again, I'm not trying to be biased about the Bills. The fact is that they've lost like 1 game against the Dolphins since Josh has been, maybe 2. The one that the one that the tight end dropped the pass in the end zone, and then this one a couple years ago with where everybody was talking about the heat on the sideline. Those are the 2 games. Other than that, Josh has been dominant against the Dolphins. Then you talk about. I'm just saying, like, it's not an easy season. It's not an easy schedule when you look at it from the perspective of how it's playing out. I'm not trying to be a hater.
But like you're also looking at the entirety of how the Dolphins have played. You're not taking into account how the defense playing right now.
No.
Hold on. You're not taking into account how the defense playing right now, and then what we expected from Tua. The expectations is all you get from Tua because he had 1 game to play. They played fairly solid for the most part and just didn't finish in red zones. Right. And so like the Jags kept it close. the Ravens blew out the Bills, even though they were 2-4 or whatever, I would still take the Bills over that Ravens team, personally. And so this idea that how games are playing out without Tua leads any type of if you thought that this team could win the division with Tua, and then we lost Tua, and then you're saying that we couldn't go 8 out of 11 with Tua to end the season, and we've only had 1 3/4 game with Tua as far as like evidence of how he could play. I just again against a team in the Bills who has known how to play Tua, in my opinion, defensively. They've played Tua well for a while. And so in my opinion, this idea that if you thought that Tua-led Dolphins could win the division, you should be able to believe that a Tua-led Dolphins can win out of 8 out of 11.
Again, what I just said is the truth. I picked them to win the division before the season with health. The way the season has gone is not just Tua. Like, I think a lot of things have happened to that team outside of Tua that contributes to you not being the full Miami Dolphins that
like
I
what?
thought. There's other injuries. Like,
yeah, but like what injuries do you think that have played a role?
Well, I mean, I don't know, man.
I'd say Jalen Phillips is probably like the biggest.
Maybe, like, because I mean, what I'm saying is like I don't want to sit here and
been banged up all season. Like,
I mean, he playing though. He's balling.
Yeah, but he's not. But he's visibly
he's balling with no quarterback throwing. Like that's they know we're running the football.
No, and
he's balling.
Right.
Okay,
but you figure about it too. Like the team is on like their third before Tua came back. They were on like their third back due to injury. Like people was getting knocked out.
If you watch the Seahawks game, Skylar Thompson was holding the ball for about 7 seconds and got smacked. Over and over again, bro.
I understand, but what I'm saying is at the end of the day, guys are getting injured. So we can't like I understand that like every play you can say that there's a reason for it. But the reality is like that injury report is ugly. And like it's getting cleaner now. And I understand like as the season goes, but what I'm saying is like the way the season is playing, even for other teams, I think other teams look kind of better than I thought. I didn't think Green Bay would look as good as Green Bay looks. I thought the Texans was going to cook, but especially now with Nico Collins out, I didn't think the Texans was still going to kind of be able to do certain things.
I think that like, so if we want to break down game by game, I think the Texans have the way we play is much better for a team again like the Texans. Because they're going to get out there and throw the ball 30 times a game, and they just not. I just don't. I feel like our defensive backfield has done its job all year, in my opinion. Like now, granted, teams are just running football, so like we haven't really got a test size to see if this defensive backfield can hang with the team throwing the ball 30, 40 times. But so far, they have the number 3 passing yards per game in the league right now. So I mean, we can't really know until we get an actual sample size of Tua in there. So I in my opinion, if I believe that Tua was going to win the league in the East, I have to believe he can win out of 3 games against good teams.
And I respect that. I just think coming back from an injury, I think that there's going to be some rust maybe, or, if not rust, like chemistry issues initially. And so I just think certain things factor into how games are going to go. So that's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to be a hater. I think Tua, when he's out,
are haters. Stop
no, because the thing is, I've been one that constantly gets yelled at by Bills Mafia for like not kind of going with the takes that everybody else has. Because sometimes I look at it like we talked about it earlier, the whole D-Hop thing. I don't think he's washed. Like to me, I think it's crazy to say some shit like that. I think it's crazy to say that Tua doesn't make the Dolphins so much better than what we've seen over the last few weeks. I'm being honest there. But I'm also saying that coming back from an injury and other guys coming back from injury and having the line that you have, we've seen guys get injured behind that line. Having the guys that you have, it's a fair question to be like, yo, can Tua last the rest of the season behind?
If I thought that our O-line's inability to pass was the reason our quarterbacks were getting hurt, or to pass block was the reason our quarterbacks were getting hurt. Tua got hurt running the football. Huntley got hurt scrambling out to the right when he had a pocket to sit in. He got outside of it when he didn't need to, and then ran and got hit after he threw it out of bounds. And Skylar Thompson got hurt when he rolled out to the right at halftime, was supposed to throw a Hail Mary, held the ball for 8 seconds, and got smacked in his back. And so, like, if I thought the reason our quarterbacks were getting hurt was because they're getting hit over and over and over again, then I would agree. I would be like, okay, Tua's probably not going to be able to stay up behind this whole line. But I just think Tua just need to slide. He don't get hurt. We're in a whole different position than we're in right now. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna look up the sack numbers though, because like I hear you and you make perfect sense there. So, but I'm just saying, like, honest to God, man, like when I watch, I just feel like the quarterback is either running for their life or getting touched early.
They are, but not early. I feel like they are running for their life, but they're running for their life and getting sacked for holding on to the ball too long. Because if you miss the windows in this offense, there are no more windows. Like that in this offense, the way this like their route tree works sometimes is that you have to hit it on time, and if you don't, you have to scramble or you have to throw it away or you have to try to make a play. You like that's truly while I'm watching the game, that's truly how I believe they're getting sacked over and over again. If they're in the back, their run blocking is great, and I think the Dolphins' run blocking has been the best part of that offense right now.
Okay, George, you got anything on this?
Nah. Nah.
There's haters. There's haters.
I don't know how you want me to slice it, man. Y'all got like 6 guys on IR right now. Like your whole slot receiving room is in shambles. You're gonna expect a one-legged Odell Beckham Jr. and Malik Washington to come make a difference.
Nice. Stop playing.
He's a rookie.
Nice.
He's a rookie.
Nice. So is Keon Coleman. So is
and I say he's a rookie. So you can't base a lot of your game plan on such guys like that. Is what I'm trying to say. And that offense, which is a West Coast timing, rhythm-based offense, you gotta have guys that know what the fuck they're doing, right? And if you don't have 3 seconds to think about it, it's quick. And without Tua at the helm at quarterback, it's a problem. And your offensive line you got a problem on the interior, right? Like Robert Jones and Eichenberg.
Eichenberg played good,
but it's not consistent like it needs to be. That's the problem. It's the consistency. So yeah, the run blocking is better. I mean, when you run in a zone a zone run scheme, you just got to run the space and find a body, right? But like the offensive line for them is still a problem. Like, you got to be honest, it's not where it needs to be for a quarterback like Tua that has concussion problems and needs to stay upright. He needs to get the ball out. He doesn't need to be scrambling and doing all that shit. Like, he needs to get the ball out. So yeah, it's not me being a hater. It's just when I look at it, it's like, man, like they need some help in some areas, and I just don't know if they're built for a run based off of what you guys have right now. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, anything can happen, you know.
And I've been told I'm a hater on the Bills. People been telling me I'm not a real Bills fan this season because I think our run defense is weak.
Your definition of hater.
They've been on me. No, but I think I think the Bills have been a surprise to me. The 5-2 is a surprise to me, and like I still feel like a concern for me is when you go up against teams with good running backs, like you have talent at the running back position. I'm worried about that. Now, I think we were supposed to beat the Titans. But that first half, I tell you what, Pollard, he had moments where he made it look like, oh, this might be an easy game. If you know what I mean? Like, he had moments. We supposed to win, but the way it looked against the Ravens, I don't like that. I don't like that. A-Chain had a good game against the Bills. That was the only good thing about what the Dolphins had that day. Obviously, the injury, the interceptions that you mentioned with Tua, but offensively, A-Chain still had a decent day. I don't know, man.
It's tough.
I wouldn't call you. I say hater, but you guys are more like negative people when your team's not doing well. So or when the team you're talking about not doing well.
Hey,
even last year,
I'll admit, I'll be on their ass when they
even last year, like when we were. That's what I'm saying. We were 6-6. Like, you guys thought the world was ending, and so like I get it. I understand that you're looking at a team that you really don't have a bias for, and you're speaking in that negative paraphrase of like, I don't see an avenue where they come out. I try to break down the good parts of the team with the additions of what we're getting, and then I find an avenue for us to win. I did it when we were with the Bills. I've done it with the Chiefs for them to win. Like I try to be as like I'm on the positive scale of teams that can. I still think the Jets can come out and play really well and be a really good football team, in my opinion. I mean, they just got a good receiver, and I think they could come out and be a good football team if they put it together. So I guess I don't shut the door on teams that are struggling this early in the season.
I mean,
now you got to pick it up at some point, but like this early.
Well,
still.
In my defense, though, for real, because I do want to say, like last year when we were 6-6, I didn't think that the world was ending, but I think it's important for me. Like if I'm doing Bills content, it's important for me to be able to see something besides perfection. Like I think doing Bills content, a lot of times most Bills content creators is like Josh Allen's perfect, and oh my God, like he can do no wrong. Oh my God, the defense is perfect. Nope, Sean McDermott made a mistake, but he's still the best coach that we've had since Marv Levy. And I think a lot of content creators consistently kind of move the goalposts in a way where we accept failure. So I think for me, when things are going wrong, I think it's important for me as a content creator or as a media member. Like whatever you want to consider me at this point, I think it's important for me to be able to say, yo, they don't look good here. Like now this year, the run defense concerns me. I think now, again, we made adjustments. So on paper right now, it looks like, nah, Spence, you tripping because we killing them. I think it's because we were supposed to beat the 1-4 Titans that came to Buffalo. I think we were supposed to do like certain games. It's supposed to look like that. But then when you go up against a guy like Derrick Henry with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, that didn't look too good to me on TV on prime time. That's what I'm saying. So
I agree with you.
I don't think I look at it like the world is ending and everything or the sky is falling. I just feel like to me, it's important to kind of have a perspective of like, okay, I can't come out and just say that everything's perfect. Now, when I'm a fan, I can't even tweet. This is the truth. Sundays, I can't just freely tweet because as a fan, I go and say something, but everybody feels like, oh, this is Spence talking as whatever they see me, the content, whatever. And then and I have to like defend takes. And it's like, yo, let me watch the fucking game. And that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just a fan in the moment saying like, DeMar gave up. I just get mad. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I feel like people can't be fans no more, man. It's fucking annoying.
I agree with your point that you do need to be honest, like as far as what you truly believe. If you things are going to go downhill, I think honesty is really important especially for content creator. I also think that you shouldn't always look for the avenue that is least likely to succeed when you're trying to make a prediction on how the future is going to go. So like the Bills are 6-6 last year. From both of you guys, it was like you guys really wanted to find that avenue where we are going into next season with the high draft pick if we go back and watch, just from my perspective of what I heard last year, like it sounded like you guys didn't really have faith that we were going to win the East. Definitely not the East, or barely make it into the playoff game. And like, I think that if you look at our team, the team was built to be a good football team through a good constant win rate and like continuously winning at the latter part of the season over and over again last year. And so like, I do think it's important to be honest, but I also think it's important to not look at the negative side so much because then you just get stuck there, in my opinion. You get stuck in like a negative thought process of it all.
No, I feel you. I'm gonna send you some receipts though, because I'm gonna tell you. Last year,
we gonna watch it back.
No, because I'm just saying I got them because I remember Sterl's. Like I feel like you can back me up on this, and I even think I don't think it was. I think the difference is that Sterling actually most of his content, his passion is in the draft. So I think he was looking at where we felt like the team was lacking, and then he's looking to the draft. Whereas me, I don't care about the draft. I don't care about all that stuff. But week to week, I'm like, yo, we need to fix this shit this next game. Why is the offense not looking good? We fired an offensive coordinator. We can't fire this new one. We can't fire, like, you can't keep firing coordinator. So like, that's where I'm at on a week to week basis. I think Sterling was more so like, all right, yo, this receiving class, we need a receiver this year. Diggs is either going to be out of here or like that's where Sterling was. So I think you probably took it for us saying we need a high pick, but no, we always got faith in the boys.
Post Broncos loss. Your opinions
I
were
was
really
pissed.
bleak. So like, I did catch you right after the losses in some of these shows, and so like I get it, like that you're pissed at the time, but it did seem as though you had like fire McDermott like in the middle of the season. Like that was a big take for you last year.
I'm still sick of that dude.
But like firing McDermott is automatic loss, like automatic no playoff run. Like that's in my head. That's how I see it. You fire McDermott.
Okay, can I defend the McDermott thing real quick? Because I still got that take. Fire this guy, right? I've had it in the offseason. I had it this season. I had it last season. I think that he's the reason why we lose a lot. So for me, I don't think it's a big take. I think it's like, yo, I'm tired of us being just a playoff team. I think him and Bean together have done a great job being architects. But him and Bean together. I already know. I think they've done a great job being architects. But I often compare them to Steros. Could tell you about this take that I have. I compared them to the Steve Kerr and Mark Jackson situation. I think that we need a Steve Kerr in Buffalo now. I don't know who that is. I can't say it's Ben Johnson. I can't say that it's Eric Bieniemy. I don't know who the hell it could be. But I don't think it's McDermott. I think McDermott is Mark Jackson.
I think the time of the defensive coach is coming back. It feels like now Andy Reid's an outlier, and I will never put him in the same conversation. I think give it time, and you might want a different defensive coach, but like I think our defensive coordinator will be a great defensive or head coach one year. I forgot his name, but like he was a D coordinator last year or the D line coach for the Ravens, Anthony something.
Anthony
I
Weaver.
I think he'll be a good head coach at some point. And like I think the defensive coaches are coming back. So I don't know if you want to get rid of them. If you think you can find a better one, you think you can find a better defensive coach, or do you want an offensive guy?
I want an offensive guy. What do you want, Stros?
I want an offensive guy too. I've seen the McDermott thing. I mean, it got us so far, and I'm grateful for that. Like, I can't take anything away from, but like, I'm tired when we go to the playoffs. You already know he's outmatched by these other coaches, man, and it's just like, damn, like that's another roadblock that you just like got to overcome that one too, Josh. The offense,
like, Anthony, I feel like we look at what Kansas City has, and you want it. That doesn't happen. Andy Reid paired with it doesn't like most of the time your great quarterbacks there. It is mostly a defensive guy. If I like is Brady had a defensive guy, Manning I believe had a defensive guy. Like most of the time you have a great guy, a quarterback. It's a defensive guy, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly, and it's tough because you look at them and you want what they have, but I just don't know if it's obtainable.
No, I mean it's tough. You can't replicate that. However, like when you look at the Patriots dynasty, they had Josh McDaniels running the same offense for 8 fucking years. Like I want that. I want that continuity. I want a progressive offensive mind to run the football team. I feel like you can go get a defensive coordinator. There's hot defensive coordinators every single year that come and go. But it seems like when you have a generational quarterback like Josh Allen, you have to make that your fastball. And having a defensive head coach not be great situationally in certain times in the playoffs is hurting the team.
Interesting.
And for me, it's I'll be honest, I don't care if it's offensive or defensive. I just want somebody who trusts the best part of our team in the biggest moments. So you know what I mean? Like, so I don't want decisions being made the way that they've been being made over the last several years. Like, I feel like we're trying to be so overly analytical that we make stupid ass decisions. Like, for instance, that 13 seconds, I don't care how he tries to word it, execution this or whatever. They tried to be analytical and whatever. They didn't execute. It was stupid BS, however you want to word it. Last year with the punt, the analytics say to go for the fake punt there with fucking DeMar Hamlin on. It never should ever say that. Like, I just
analytics should have worked there.
The analytics was dumb as hell.
That forced fumble doesn't happen if we don't go for the fake punt. And
no, it doesn't. But that's
supposed to score.
But I'm just saying, like, that whole thing is just dumb as fuck to me. Like, it should none of it shouldn't happen.
I don't know who got DeMar Hamlin running.
Bro, like, come on. And I get it. I get it. We love DeMar Hamlin. I'm not hating on DeMar Hamlin outside of what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about that moment. And I can't even hate on him for that. He didn't call the play. He just went out there, yo, my number card. I'm gonna line up and I'm gonna try to do this thing. Fine. Look, it was the dumbest.
He has learned from his mistakes, though. McDermott has historically.
Sure. So McDermott learned from his mistakes.
Hold on. So last year, or there was a game last year where we didn't let Josh take a chance in case of throwing an interception. Well, then we get to this year at the end of a game. It was tie game, so we went in overtime. So we get into this year, or you guys get into this year, and he gives Josh a chance. He throws a pick, and that's also McDermott's fault. So I mean, like, what in which case is it McDermott's fault? In which case is it result? Is it just result based? If it doesn't work, it's McDermott's fault, no matter what choice he makes.
No, I've been mad at McDermott when we won the game. Like they're in
the Jets.
The Jets. I can speak about several moments where I'm like, yo, this dude is a complete. He's embarrassing on a week-to-week basis, and we win in spite of him. Josh Allen does Josh Allen things. We have good adjustments at times against, I think, teams that we should beat anyway. So to me, I don't know if it's, I don't know. I get frustrated with McDermott, but again, my energy hasn't changed. I get hate from other content creators because my energy towards Gabe Davis has been consistent. I get hate from whoever because I say fire McDermott, and I'm saying it, but I'm a fan. Like, so this is just me being a fan. I don't think it's that the world is on fire. I just think that I've seen enough of McDermott losing it for us in the biggest moments. I don't know.
I mean, it's result based then. Like, I mean, that's what it, because if he doesn't, if all his decisions were the same and he won a Super Bowl, you wouldn't. I mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, if it is a result based or is it the choice that they make?
Well, it's absolutely result based. This is the NFL,
right? So like, then it has nothing to do with his choices.
No,
McDermott, win me the games. Win me the playoff games. Win me it doesn't matter what choices you make. Make the choices you want to make, and win us the playoff games. That's how.
That's why I use Mark Jackson as an example. They won 55 games that season. They were a high seed that year. They were in the playoffs. He drafted Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Like, it was he did a great job. He still got fired, and Steve Kerr won a championship with the same core.
I don't think Steve Kerr has done really anything. I think he still would have won if he stayed there.
I would agree that he hasn't done anything other than, I think what he did was he understood the players on a level that Mark Jackson didn't quite understand the player. Like, I know Mark Jackson was a player and a hooper in his way, but that type of team, he was around Jordan and them boys, and he saw how that type of team went. I think it was just I think he had what Steph Curry needed as a shooter, and I think he had the perspective of being on that type of team with a Phil Jackson type of coach. So I think it was different. He had a different flavor that player needed. I think we need a Josh Allen coach. They needed a Steph Curry coach, which was Steve Kerr. I think they need. So,
like, you're not comparing Josh to. I think Mahomes would be Steph Curry currently, and Andy Reid would be his Steve Kerr, and Josh is supposed to be LeBron. Like, go give me a ring without all that. You know what I mean? Like, go give me a ring without a head coach. Darvin Ham, we're winning. Darvin, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not even fighting that take. Like, that's a fire ass take, man. Like, yo, that's the best one you had tonight.
That's because you know. All right, then.
No, I'm just fucking with you. Y'all got anything else y'all want to chop it up about before we get out of here? We don't went into overtime for real.
Yeah, nah. I got to get to the next one.
So when you get to come out here and get smoked in hoops,
who?
You?
Oh, dog. You come on, dog.
Stop. I know Spence don't leave his Arizona abode, so I mean.
Dog,
weather's beautiful. Okay,
I will cook you.
Come out here. We got park recs, so we got runs.
I will cook you, dog.
Come on, bro.
That's one thing I do know how to do is hoop.
We gonna see. We gonna see for sure.
I'm gonna still get that celebrity game going.
I tried to get Spence to come with me to a 24-hour and he didn't want to go. And he said, "I don't got shoes." Oh no, that was you, Sterls. You said I ain't got shoes.
I don't got shoes. Oh, I didn't bring him with me to Buffalo, dog.
Disappointing.
Bro, come on now.
Dude be thinking that we on vacation to be out there hooping. Like, come on, dog. Like,
bring shoes. It's easy. Put it in the suitcase. We go hoop 1 day, 2 hours.
Y'all bugging. But listen, we gonna get on out of here. My dog, Bro Poe, as always, it's always a pleasure to have you with us, man. My brother Sterls for the girls. Go ahead and let everybody know what you got. Either one of y'all. We'll start with Poe. Let us know what you got going on this week. I know you be making your rounds now.
I mean, we just getting going on Luminate, this business that we're starting up. So we're gonna be dropping some podcasts through the Instagram and on Twitter and some crazy stuff. So I mean, if you guys tune into that.
I saw that the his Twitter handle changed, the branding of it. So next time we have you on, we'll talk about that a little more, kind of get some background on that, see what was going on with it. Sterls, what you got going on this week, man?
Yeah, man. On Tuesday nights, you can find me right here on Twitter on the Rumblings podcast feed. And I also do my intentional grounding as well for Sports Social. You can find me over there on YouTube as well. So at Furrowh Sterling, just search me up. You'll find my shows and my content.
All right. And last, before we get out of here, I do want to just say it's bullshit that you beat me in fantasy this week. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm not the person to sit here and hide from it. I'm second in the league. You not. I'm not
that 2-5 comeback is crazy for the Fins. That 2-5 comeback is coming. Don't believe that. I'm matching my score record with the Dolphins. Know that.
That's ugly.
Well, then that means you're gonna miss.
I'm about to go to the playoffs, and I'm about to win one this year. Thank you.
So we're gonna get on out of here. Y'all know how we do it with the Rumblings Network, man. Y'all love each other, take care of each other, live in peace. As always, stay positive, test negative. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Fins up.
Oh boy.
Oh God.